Yeah, like Randy said, besides the fact of it being a tribute to our music.
Luke was doing one of the takes, and I walked in the studio and went to singing with him. I didn't know he was taking it, but that was fun to me. I think hopefully it was fun to him. He didn't smack me, so.
He's pretty good size old boy.
Yeah, he's pretty good size. He got a lot of long arms anyway. But it was, and Jason, first time I saw Jason, I had heard that he liked Alabama, so I slipped in the show in Columbus, Georgia, and just walked up on stage. And he looked like, is this really? It was so funny. And then I'd asked some people at the local radio station, I don't know how many years ago, we were thinking about like an opening act and stuff like that. And they said, well, the best choice we could think of is a guy named Toby Keith. And they said, and he's playing at the Fuzzy Duck in Gadsden. So I'd got my daddy's old yellow pickup. I drove down there and just kind of came in the back, just sat over there and listened to Toby Keith. And he was an entertainer. I mean, he was really, really cool. And to see what happened to his career, and of course then, I can't remember if he'd met up with Harold at that time, or he was going to meet up with Harold, who had produced and worked with us on this project, and also on, he was and still is a great friend of Toby Keith's. Toby's a great friend. I had the distinct pleasure of closing down BMI one year with Toby and Bill Anderson drunk. And so that was a highlight, and Toby picked me up. So it's like,
Who was
that's a
drunk?
big
You or
old boy.
Toby?
Yeah, he was
Toby played with the band in high school, and he said he said we didn't do Alabama singles. He said we learned Alabama albums. He said we'd play the whole album.
They were glutton for punishment.
And when they came to Nashville, I mean, him and his band had just started writing, and I think there was already in Alabama. And he said we sounded a lot like Alabama. That's who we patterned ourselves after. And said,
I didn't hear that story. You sure that's true?
this is
Sounds
true.
good.
He told it to me sitting down at Harold's birthday party. And he said, we came to Nashville and said, nobody liked what we was doing. Said we sounded.
We can identify with that.
And I said after a few weeks, he said, phooey on this. Said we moved back to Oklahoma, and said about 2 weeks later, said my wife came out on the porch and hollered at me one day. Said I was mowing grass. She said some guy named Harold Shedd's on the phone, and said he went running in the house and said Harold asked him, said this CD you dropped off here, said who wrote these songs? He said, well, I did. He said, well, who's playing on the music on there? He said, well, my band. Harold said, well, I want to come see you. So Harold went out, met with him, and signed him up, brought him back to Nashville, and that was how Toby got started.
He also did the same thing with Shania Twain. And the girl that did 80s, I can't think of her name.
K.T. Osland.
K.T. Osland. It was neat for me to go in and hear them be in the studio, hear them starting their career. Not to get involved in it, but just to sit in the control room and hear Shania laugh. She's got a neat little laugh. And
it's a sexy laugh.
yeah. And never get involved with their, the takes or anything like that. But and KT was the same way. I don't know who all Harold was in.
Kentucky Headhunters. He brought them to town, and did all that. Billy Ray Cyrus.
He was the one.
That's right. They
Achy
did
Breaky
really
Heart.
right,
Yeah. I mean, it's a huge international hit. But there was a lot of great music rolling through the music mill at that time.